Hey everyone, I'm Clifford, and today we are going to make a lizard, a fire spirit to be more precise, from Frozen 2, which I think is inspired by this little fella here, a leopard gecko. This is my leopard gecko called Tony, and he's 2 years old, and I just love him. I have a few leopard geckos, and I'm just so proud of them. Tony here is a very social boy compared to some of my other leopard geckos. Like this one. Egon, sorry, I just had to show him also. I mean, isn't he cute? I mean, he is sort of creepy the way he acts around everyone. And he loves to bite. But not me, so yeah, I love him too. Anyway, I just had to show them off when I made a sculpture that is clearly inspired by the leopard gecko. So let's get started. Now for the skeleton, so to speak, the amateur, I made sort of a Loch Ness monster, and I am using way too much wire, but I am doing this on purpose, so I can cut it into shape later on. So this is just to give me a base, so to speak. Now while I'm doing that, let's talk a bit more about this little creature from Frozen 2, the fire spirit. You see, if you Google it, it's called Bruni. And we don't talk about Bruno, but apparently we can talk about Bruni. I really think we need to talk about Bruni. So, from what I could gather on Google, Bruni means burning or in flames in some Scandinavian culture. And I do not speak for all Scandinavians, I only live in Denmark, and here, Bruni doesn't mean anything. The closest thing Bruni can mean is a slang for pooping in your pants, I think. So even though I'm taking this little spirit from Frozen 2, I am renaming him. I mean, he can't be called Poop, I just can't. So from now on, we call this little guy Spitfire. And maybe he's not even the fire spirit for Frozen 2, maybe it is his twin. I don't know. I just saw it and couldn't resist it. Now we are beginning to shape up the body. And I'm cutting out to some legs. Now you're going to see so many errors and trials I'm doing here in this video. Though not in the start. The body was the easy part, let me tell you. But we come to that later. It is always difficult to recreate something rather than create something because you want it to look in a certain way and you want it to get that look. And I want that cuteness with the adorable big eyes, and I want those little pitter-patter feet and make it look cute overall. So I took my time. I didn't need that much time with the body, as you can see it's already done. And now we are beginning on the first head. Yeah, the first head. I tried to start as I always do, make a ball. Before I start putting on the clay and shaping it as I want. Now with the head, I ran into a lot of problems. First off, the eyes. They are so big, so I couldn't figure out how to fit them into the head. And I tried to do as I always do, just pop it in. I can't do that. Then I tried to shape a blob to be the eye, making it look like a deformed Pokemon. Yeah, that didn't work neither. Then I tried to cut half of the face off in hope of if I changed the snout, then maybe I could start seeing what the hell I was doing. But there was no luck, and that's because I ran into a second problem. And that was the head shape. The little fella changes his head shape depending on the expression that he has. It's some sort of Disney magic that works, but not on a sculpture. So I had to pick a scene and then just go from there and forget all I know about faces and just build it up slowly. Started with the head base and then the eyes, and then build around the eyes and hope that I get to a point where I'm satisfied. And this is the face I end up using, but it was so nerve-wracking to make it look like him. Just keep going and hope at some point it started to look like Spitfire. Because at this stage, it still looked like sort of a bug Pokemon to me, which definitely isn't what I was going for. But as I always say, persistence is the key, and it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be Clayfaked. So I kept going and hoping. But it was first when I started to put the eyebrows on that I started to see the face as it should be. And even there I had problems making sure it didn't look angry and didn't look like a villain. But with a lot of smoothing and a lot of praying to any crafting god that I know, I think I got there. Now remember I told you that I needed to pick a scene in order to get the head shape right? Yeah, I picked the one where he first meets Elsa and he realized that she's not going to hurt him or hunt him down or anything like that. And he looks adorable with that tilted head. Yeah, I just had to make that one. While I'm building up his jaw and giving him a nose, let's talk for a bit, shall we? You see, I want to thank everyone who has supported and liked my videos and subscribed. It really means the world to me, and I will encourage everyone else to do exactly that. Please comment, subscribe, like, share this video. I want this channel to grow, I want to learn, and I want to have fun with you guys. So please consider it. Now with the last details, I think you can really start to see it look like Spitfire or Bruni if you want to go that route. And I'm so happy. It took so long to make the face, but it was definitely worth it. All the trials, all the errors. So all I had to do now was just put the head on the way I wanted it, before I started working on the neck. Now, I did all this in one bake, and the reason for that was because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to blend it in as smoothly as I wanted it. So it was difficult, but I made it in one bake, and I am so happy about it. I'm happy that I took my time and really tried my best and not skipped any steps. Here you see me brushing him with some clay softener before I move on to give him some texture. Not that you actually can see the texture when I'm done, but I tried and it was sort of fun. I took on a leather glove and I gently dabbed him everywhere to get that skin-like feel to him. So after that, all I had to do was pop him in the oven and then paint him, and he was done. Please, me taking the easy route? No. Of course I wanted flames. So that is why you're seeing me covering up, and I tried so many different ways with silicone to make the flames. And as you can see, it didn't go very well. And when I finally got the color that I wanted, then I couldn't get it to stick to the web he was covered in to protect him. So I tried with a clear silicone, then I realized you can't paint on clear silicone making it look good. But I kept trying. And here is pictures of the aftermath. After I've tried like 7 times, I have made so many molds. But they didn't work because of the color or the texture. But finally, one did work. And after that, all I had to do was unmold it before I could start painting. Now, I will admit, I got some help from Mr. Clayfaked. Him being a glacier really did help a lot, and I was just so satisfied when it was finally done and I could get to painting. Now, to those of you who has watched me before, know that I'm not a particular fan of painting. But after all those struggles, it was sort of nice just to do something simple, like painting. I have to admit, I'd enjoyed it at this point. But even here I went into some difficulties, not to complain. But this little guy changes color depending on his mood and how cold and warm he is. So I had to make the color that sort of fit the flames. And I think I've sort of nailed it. But still, it was not easy. But I hadn't taken the easy route with anything with this sculpture, and I wasn't going to start. By the way, I have to tell you a funny story. So on Pinterest, I found a collection with all the clips with this little guy in it, so I could get him right. And I watched it over and over. But there was this annoying music to it, something like, "Strap me in plastic and make me shine. Da 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 da." It drove me crazy, let me tell you. And halfway through it, Mr. Clayfect asked why I didn't just turn the music off. That made me feel sort of stupid not to have thought of that. So being the good wife that I was, I declared no, I love this song and kept it playing the whole time. Which drove Mr. Clayfect crazy, but it also drove me crazy, so maybe it wasn't the best course of action. Anyway, now back to the eyes. I took a makeup dipper dabber, I don't know what it's called, but I have a lot of them, and poked it so I could get the right pupils and get them round before I started painting the pattern using masking tape to make the lines crisp. It's funny sometimes that you can make a sculpture that you have made 1,000 times and you don't know why it just looked wrong and it looked like other times, like this one, is the first time I ever tried to make a Disney figure and it just come out great. I'm just so happy with it. Here you see me paint the rest of the pattern before we get this lovely ASMR moment right here. I clean up the lines a bit before I move on to paint the legs, which I decided against right after I have tried it. So I think that's about it for the painting. And then we were on to mounting the flames on this little guy. Now with the silicone flames, I again asked Mr. Clayfect for help. And jokes aside, I am so lucky to have that man in my life, let me tell you. But yeah, he helped me out a lot with the flames. I begged him to steal the show for a bit. Now, the first thing he tried to do was to test it where it should be. And after that, he put a thin layer of silicone on it, and then it was just mounting it and then cover the seams with some clear silicone. And then put some rubber bands around it to keep it in place. When that was done, I got the little guy back for him to dry, and then I put a clear coat of resin on his eyes to make them pop, so to speak. And with him all dry and done, I think that is it for this sculpture and it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked little Spitfire / Bruni / poop in your pants. I surely do. And I hope to see you again next time. Or maybe right now, you can click on the square to your right and hear the story about Charlie, the jam bear, while I make him. Until then, bye!